Guys, the end of the world is near. You know why? We got 5 back-to-back sunny days in London. The end of the world is at hand, guys. So, guys, we're getting rug pulled left, right, and center by the Trump administration and his cronies. Well, I'm sure Trump had nothing to do with it personally, but there are definitely people that are around him that are monetizing this whole situation, which is why I keep saying that you have to be careful. Don't delegate your brain to a third party. Even if Brad Garlinghouse says something, I don't buy it. Right? I always keep a little bit of a skepticism, a healthy skepticism, and that always helps, right? Not financial advisors always say do your own research. So, we all rejoiced when the price took off. Bitcoin appreciated by £10,000 or $10,000, excuse me. And then boom, way back down. It even dipped a little bit lower than it was before the pump. Makes you wonder. And apparently some people who are insiders shorted the market just before the announcement of the tariffs. I mean, all of this stuff is going to be investigated in due course, and we're going to find a lot of corruption. But in the meantime, it is important that we stay vigilant and we don't fall victim to this stuff. And how do we do that? Well, we don't place leverage trades with money that we can't afford to lose. That's the first one. Number 2, focus on dollar cost averaging. So like I said before, I have actually returned to doing my 4x DCA. So I am putting it 4 times as much as I was doing just a few weeks back. And I've done very, very well doing it like that, right, to be honest. Because, someone said, why don't you just put in the lump sum if you know it's going to, $500,000 or whatever. What's the difference between 50 cents and 250 cents, as in $2.50? Well, it's a massive difference. You see, everybody's different, right? Like I said before, everyone's strategy is different. Say, for example, you have $10,000 and you put that in XRP at 50 cents, okay? Some people put the same amount at 250 cents. That's 5 times the difference. So what it represents is an earlier exit for you. But then they ask you the question, aren't you just being greedy? You're going to exit anyway. It's going to, $500,000 each. And you're 100% sure of it. Yeah, be that as it may. Let's say you have a target of $1 million, for instance, right? You have a better chance of that happening in this cycle, right? If you buy a lot later, you need an extra 5x after it's reached those crazy amounts for it to happen for you. Which means you might have to wait for the next bull run, which could be, 4 years away. And depending on who you are and how old you are, your investment portfolio profile or whatever, it means completely different things. Let's say you're 20, 21, 22 years old. Now, 5 years, 10 years, that's absolutely nothing, right? You can wait. In 10 years' time, you'd be in your very, very early 30s, okay? And you might just have started your family. A great time to become a millionaire. If you're 45, if you're 55, if you're 60, on the other hand, 10 years from now, you might not have that time. You might be gone. Another thing is, you might also have young children who may be very, very demanding. You might have in 5 years' time, in 4 years' time, in 3 years' time, maybe children that are going to university, and you have to pay some of those bills. You might want to help and contribute to foot some of those expenses as a good parent, which means you need your money. You might be forced to sell earlier, and you might not get to those heights that you would otherwise have gotten to had you got in at 50 cents. So everybody's different. Not everyone is going to put a lump sum and lump the entire life savings in at $3, even if they know it's going to $500,000. Because the time that it gets to that $500,000 is different, right? And we have no idea when that's going to be. So the earlier you're able to hit your target, the better. Hope that makes sense. That's going to be me soon. on the way to a holiday somewhere nice. I'll let you guys know when the time comes. Actually, you just see me on the beach somewhere making videos on the beach. I'll be like one of those, you know, make money online content creators that show themselves in paradise locations to try and get people to buy their courses. Talking of which, there's such a content creator that I was watching yesterday who was giving a massive rant, right? So I think what's happened is, because of the announcements, they went ahead and placed maybe a huge leverage, right? Of course, they probably then got subsequently wrecked, you know, because, you know, if you put anything over a 10x and you don't have sufficient liquidity for margin, then chances are you got completely destroyed just in the last few days. I mean, it's crazy. Sorry, I just got mobbed by a whole bunch of dogs. Oh man, dogs are funny. So he made this really long rant video about how, you know, the people that are surrounding Trump are ruining his legacy by, you know, rug pulling the community for nickel and dime, right? Nickel and dime, of course, being tens of millions, maybe for some of them hundreds of millions. But then apparently these people are already millionaires. So to them, it's nickel and dime, right? And, you know, because of that, they're sullying the reputation of an otherwise relatively good start to the administration. So I don't know. I sort of partly agree with him. I think that, you know, in due course, some of this stuff is going to come to bite Trump in the behind, because, you know, he's not necessarily given the go ahead for these things. You know, he's an old man. I'm quite sure that he doesn't really actually understand crypto or, you know, tech to that extent. He has advisors, some of whom are probably taking advantage of their position to make a lot of money, especially with the whole sort of meme situation that, you know, led to a lot of value extraction from the ecosystem. And that's money that's probably not coming back anytime soon. That money is going to buy, you know, expensive stuff, expensive dinners, expensive homes, and, you know, money laundry, payback, debt probably that's been accrued from a lavish lifestyle, etc., etc., etc. For the first time in a long time, I'm actually pretty envious of you guys in America, because if this is true, this is going to be absolutely major. Apparently, obviously, as rumor has it, that the administration of Donald J. Trump is working on making capital gains or removing capital gains on crypto that's been hodled for a year and above, right? So that would match some of the stuff that I already have here in some European countries. I think it's Germany, correct me if I'm wrong, and possibly Portugal, that already have something like that in place, such that if you hodl more than a year, then it becomes, you know, no tax becomes payable. So obviously that's going to help a lot of people with lots of, you know, crypto that are American to, you know, just not worry about trading, encourage them to hodl a little bit more, because, you know, at least you want to do it for over a year. It's also going to encourage people to store their wealth in crypto, because why would you put it into real estate or land or other stuff that is liable for tax? But then, as we've seen with some of the Trump moves, a lot of his promises extend beyond crypto, and crypto is just sort of a by the way, in a way. I know we have the crypto czar, and you know, we have Garlinghouse and Michael Saylor and Elon Musk sort of in his ears, but I'm sure that those guys are also talking about other assets. So I'm sure we're probably going to see other sort of non-crypto related assets included in the capital gains thing, right? But you guys, yeah, it kind of made me wish that I was over there with you guys. Tell you what makes me feel like I'm over there with you guys is the fantastic weather. The guy that said to me to stop waffling about the weather, I will continue to waffle about the weather for as long as I can, because, you know, it's an anomaly over here. So when we get it, We're going to celebrate it and we're going to talk about it. Also, I can talk about whatever the heck I want. Anyway, what that whole capital gains thing is also going to do is it's going to bring back some of those billionaires that have moved to Dubai and Europe and whatever. And it's going to encourage those that are currently there to stay, especially also now that there is a more positive outlook to technical innovation, AI, crypto and all of that. And the SEC is sort of being disbanded, or at least taken out of the equation from the crypto and AI point of view. Then we're going to see a burst of activity, which we're already seeing, of course, especially with the XRP Ledger, Cardano, Solana, and a lot of more collaborations. We're going to see a lot of new companies that would have not perhaps even happened at all suddenly spring up, with this sort of new energy because of the new environment that they're working in. New crypto-friendly environment, new sort of can-do environment, right? New America first environment. Man, shout out to the United States, man. You guys are sorting things out. Over here, not so much. We have a horrendous capital gains tax regime. We're not as bad as Sweden or Norway or probably Switzerland or whatever, but we're pretty bad. We're pretty up there when it comes to horrendous tax regime. And I can only see it getting worse because over here, the government is completely bankrupt. The money's run out. The councils, which are sort of like the jurisdictions, I don't know what you can call a council, like the boroughs, I think, in America are equivalent to the councils over here. It's a kind of weird, it's hard to explain. All of those councils, they're the ones that deal with like local municipalities, things like, policing, local policing, waste collection, things like that. And they also do social care, and they deal with schools, etc. All of those places have run out of money, okay? And, there's a lot of pressure on it. It's a mass population increase due to immigration, etc. And the country's collapsing under the weight of bad management as well. And of course, what happened in the last 4 to 5 years, every time I mention that, by the way, my videos get significantly fewer views. So there's definitely some sort of algorithmic throttling, censorship of that word even till now. I don't know why, it's just a word, right? But hey. Anyway, that's probably enough rambling for today. Look at this beautiful day. I've got this camera here, which is like it's a point and shoot disposable thing, and it needs a lot of light to work. And since we have a lot of light and I'm in a very beautiful place, I'm gonna go take some pictures. Maybe I'll show you guys one day if you're interested. All right, peace.